Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. So Oscar Collazo becomes the WBO WBA Ring Magazine Unified Minimum Weight Champion, the 105-pound division. He defeats the long-established WBA champion, or no, it's the former WBA champion, Thammanoon Niyomtrong. But fortunately for me, Thammanoon Niyomtrong also goes by the name CP Freshmart, because a lot of these Thailand fighters, they will adopt the name of the gym where they train as their name. So I'm going to call him CP Freshmart, okay? Like I say, he's a long-established WBA champ, made a string of defences, undefeated coming in with 25 wins, 9 KOs, no draws, no defeats. And Collazo at 27, much touted. He's actually a guy who, his list has been from Puerto Rico, Oscar. He moved to Puerto Rico, I think, when he was about 8 years old. I read an article about him. But very much a Puerto Rican. He loves the island and, what's not to love and all that. Great. He's now 11 wins with 8 KOs, no draws, no defeats. And he's got these belts. And he is probably going to be Puerto Rico's new big star. And for a guy to transcend the 105-pound division, which is very often the domain of, Thailand fighters and maybe, Japanese fighters, maybe the Eastern countries, the Asian Pacific countries. Collazo is now cutting his own sway through the lower weights. He said in the interview that I read he wants to eventually move up to light fly and then flyweight. He's only 5'2" tall, which Niyomtrong or CP Freshmart, he's 5'1". So he's a tiny little guy. It's almost comical when you see Collazo being interviewed by Chris Mannix after the fight. He's dwarfed by Mannix. I don't know how tall Chris Mannix is, but he looked about 8'4", But make no mistake about it, Collazo can fight, and he took a long-established, tough, undefeated champion and dominated him. And all credit to him for doing that, because CP Freshmart came here to win. I mean, Collazo's a southpaw, and Freshmart is a orthodox fighter. I have to say, I thought that initially I was thinking CP Freshmart is being too patient. He's not letting his hands go enough. And you could tell what CP Freshmart was trying to do. He was trying to find that big punch, but it was a first round or two was a little bit of a chess match. But I think the fact that CP Freshmart was not active enough allowed Collazo to quickly find his range from that southpaw stance and start to really, not just the range, but to find a rhythm and let his hands go, and to eventually sort of dissect Freshmart. And that's exactly what he did. Now, that's not to say Freshmart wasn't dangerous. He was pinging some big backhands as the orthodox fighter. He was firing the right hand over. But Freshmart wasn't firing enough punches. There wasn't any body work, really. The jab wasn't pumping. And he allowed Collazo to settle into the rhythm, to start using his own jab and to start letting combinations go. And it was impressive how Collazo sort of went through the gears. He wasn't contained in any way. Freshmart didn't put him in his box and keep him there, make him think about what was coming at him. It was all a case of Collazo thinking, what am I going to do next to you? So this sort of dissection sort of gradually went on, and it was a great performance by Collazo. Just because I'm saying that Freshmart played into his hands, don't mean I'm saying that Collazo didn't put on a good performance. He did. This he could be a star in these lower weights. He's a star already, I suppose. And eventually, in the 6th round, finally all this dissection came to fruition because he landed a huge right hook, which seemed to sort of totally discombobulate CP Freshmart, and he sort of staggered, and then he sort of went down in stages, if you know what I mean. He staggered and then gradually hit the floor. He got up, game as hell, of course, undefeated champ, 34 years old, been a champion himself for years. He wasn't going to roll over. He was going to go out on his shield. He got up. Fortunately, it was near the sort of end of the round. That was the 6th round. So he made it back to the corner. But in the 7th, Collazo picked up where he left off and started to let his really just. What I liked about Collazo is he had patience, but not too much of it. And he didn't go crazy. Just because he scored a knockdown in the 6th, he went back to his boxing, the power boxing, you know, with where he's letting his hands go, but really opening the opponent up. And again, a big right hand came over the top, a big right hook from the southpaw stance, so it's a hook, came over, puts Freshmart down again. Freshmart gets up, game as hell. Collazo goes forward and eventually pings him with a left uppercut, which puts Freshmart down, and the referee didn't even count. He stopped the fight. That was the 7th round. So it's a 7th round KO for Oscar Collazo. Much deserved. Very, very good performance by Collazo against probably a guy who's seen better days. When you're that small, the general rule is that you kind of, you get your career is once you get to 34, you're old for that weight. Do you know what I mean? They're not like the heavyweights who can go on till they're 40. But I'll tell you what, Collazo's a good fighter, good little fighter indeed. Very little fighter, but very good fighter. All right, so if you saw this, what do you think of it? What do you think of Collazo? How far can he go? He looks tiny. I mean, they both look tiny, but Collazo's talking about going up to flyweight eventually. At 5'2", yeah, if he grows into it. But he's 27 now. So if I was him, I'd concentrate on becoming an undisputed champ at minimum weight. He said he wants the other belts. That would be the IBF and the WBC. He's already Ring Magazine champ. He's got 2 of the belts. He's got his place in history, but he's only had 11 fights. So it's very impressive progress. But there's more to come from Collazo. Don't make any mistake about that. He's a very, very good fighter. Okay, let me know what you think. Comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And also, if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe. That would help us out a great deal. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I always enjoy reading your comments, and I'll reply to as many as I can. Meanwhile, bye for now.